Hey, it's GT from Death Wears Bunny Slippers. Hope everybody's doing okay. I forgot the footage that Sam and I did. I have been traveling for work and thought I had it on my laptop. I didn't, and I knew you guys would kill me if I didn't get the video done on time. This is a tour video. This was taken February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2013. So since the last video, it has been a while since the last video. I mean, in time lapse, it's been a while. You'll see some things that have, from the sandblasting, but there's a lot of work that's been done as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start rolling this footage, and I'm going to interrupt it as we go, but enjoy the video. So this is the bottom of the stairs. Here's a contraption that we built. The excavator doesn't reach all the way down, plus it would be backwards. So we built this actually quite a while ago to lift stuff in and out. It works beautifully, and it actually articulates with the bucket, so you can load it up with stuff and dump it or whatever you need. Works great. There's the sandblasting pot back there. Normal entrance door. We haven't done a lot here since you may have seen it. This is actually, about half of this has been sandblasted, and then it's re-rusted since then, which is fine. It's just surface rust. So this room is been kind of our test room for paint. So far we've been using all water-based or latex paint, and it sticks beautifully. That's probably been on for about 6 months to bare metal, and even after all the moisture that we put through here, it works quite well. And then some onto the concrete. That was rolled, but we'll go ahead and spray, that way we get everything in those pits. We've experimented with this door. This has some other kind of primer on it, which was less successful. This room's had a bit of blasting as well. Again, it's all kind of surface rusted. That will take that sandblaster about 2 seconds to come back down. What's hard to sandblast in here is this. So this is the big door frame. Give you some perspective here. So this stuff, I think, came from the factory. What I mean by door construction or from the factory is the doors were pre-hung. So the big door was pre-hung on a frame. The frame is 4 feet thick, and then it was set in place. All 4 doors were set in place, and then the concrete blast lock poured around it. So that's what I meant. It's even for that huge sandblaster, it's really hard for that to come off. So, but we do want it off so it paints nicely. So that just takes a little bit of time. So there's the tunnel. This is just a room we use for storing some tools and such. I don't remember the last time you saw a video, but both these tunnels would have been filled full of stuff to hold up the old cables and such, and the cables would go through. It's kind of dark. Would go through these holes. Yeah, well, and I shot those videos. We weren't on YouTube and such, so I know you guys have already seen that, so just ignore that comment. You can see up here where they used to hang that, and we'll cut those off nicely someday. Here's my 5,000 PSI pressure washer. This thing is quite awesome. It's a twin engine Honda. It flat moves some water. It peels stuff off nicely. You may be wondering about running that underground. What you can't feel right now is we're actually pushing ventilated air in here, and it actually has a rush of air through this tunnel right here. So that plus the fan you see sitting there, you can't even tell that anything's running when we're running something in here. So that's why we keep it right here in the entrance. So this is level 2 of the launch control center. This, again, if you want to look at past videos, used to have so much stuff in it. I mean, you almost barely could see the ceilings. We're actually doing some test paint. We just rolled that on yesterday. We just want to see how it's going to hold up. We actually don't want to sandblast that. It would take a very long time to sandblast because of all the nooks and crannies, and you're basically holding up a 50-pound hose all the time, so it makes it a bit difficult. The other huge change that's hard to notice unless you're here is there's no holes in the floor. So you can kind of see the outline right here, and there's all these holes that were in the floor from the old cabinets, and there's actually a big hole that used to be here for cables. So getting all those filled in has been quite a nice accomplishment. We can basically almost walk around without worrying about falling to our death, which is always nice. This room has changed what we were planning on doing with it a few different times. Originally, we were planning on making this the living room.
I edited this footage a bit. What we were going on to say is to say that this was going to be the kids' room. That isn't the case anymore. What we said originally being a living room is the current plan, but this is the least planned floor. We know what the other floors are going to be, but this one, we really don't. So right now it's just kind of going to stay large and blank canvas. And we're going to, do some cool stuff in here, like a living room, just not fully planned yet.
The other thing we're looking at doing is taking out the stairway here and installing a spiral staircase. You can kind of see where I dragged some mud here. So the spiral staircase, we'd have to do some changing up top. Would actually would save quite a bit of space, and although we have about 2,500 square feet, everything in a circle is actually quite difficult to design to. So let's go upstairs. So upstairs will be the master bedroom and bath. The guys just got a second coat of primer on this last night. So again, it's hard to get a sense of this place when you're just looking into the white abyss looking up here. But this is all dome shaped. You can kind of maybe see that now. But this is just one big white dome, about 32 feet in diameter up here. It's actually a little bit smaller than the other buildings or the other floors. It kind of tapers up here at the top. If you hear a weird echo, it's because the acoustics up here are quite painful. We'll have to work on that. So the spiral staircase would come up somewhere in this area, and we would be closing this off, and that would gain us, some square footage and make it a little bit easier to work on. Up here, again, for those of you new to the project, those right here, there, those hangers actually go up into the ceiling a huge amount. Everything we're walking on that's steel is actually suspended on those springs by these hooks right here. So these go into the concrete quite a lot. Concrete's I think about 8 feet thick right here, and they have huge J-bolts in them that hold this entire suspension system up. The suspension system is called the bird cage. If you can imagine this cage actually just hangs within the building, and that's what gives us the suspension. In fact, if you look in a lot of places, like up here, you can see there's a gap, and then here we have there's the old rubber boot in place, but there's a gap down here as well. So we'll go down to level 3. So again, the change that we've looked at making is originally level 3 was going to be the kids' rooms, but now we're looking at making this into a secondary living space, secondary to the top side house we plan on building. But this down here, the ceilings are about 15 feet to the ceiling, to floor, so about, with those 18-inch I-beams, it's about, 13 and a half feet floor to ceiling. So the ceilings are taller down here. There's no springs. There's no tunnel. So the tunnel's on the floor above us right there. So you actually gain quite a bit of space down here. So we're talking about the spiral staircase coming through here, right here symmetrically down. So when you would come to the bottom, you would see this. Again, these stairs would be gone. This is the vent shaft. So this is I don't know if the microphone's picking up the air coming through here, but there's actually quite a lot of air coming through, and it's cold air. So right now it's about 35 degrees outside, so the air is pretty cold coming in here, but by the time it exits, it's about 55 degrees. So this is where we get our fresh air in. So there will be some sort of fresh air system here. The heating air system is still under contract. I have a consultant out of Florida that's designing it. So you may have noticed there's some water down here. Basically, that's almost by design right now. Any water that we accumulate outside, we actually pump into here. And that's because we have this system that works now. So this is the old septic system. So this is, I don't know, a couple 100-gallon septic tank. It's got space for 2 motors. I have, both the motors were bad. Of course, they were 3-phase and underwater when I got the place. So I've got a new motor on it and space for another when I decide to order it. And this actually still ejects outside. We have it hooked up outside, so it actually still ejects through the old system. And when you turn it on, so there's a pump down here that the old pump is actually still there. We're gonna have to take that out once we drain this. But we turn this sump pump on, goes into the septic system. That was cut off. That used to go all the way up to different systems, but you know, like the septic upstairs and such. That pumps it up in here, and then we turn this big 5-horsepower motor on, and it'll drain this room in a hurry. So it's not a big deal. We're still pressure washing down here, so to have water down here is not really much of a concern. Ooh, there's my MIG welder. I love that thing. My plasma cutter's probably around here somewhere. I can't find it, but everybody should have one of those too. They're really nice to have. So I think we'll head back upstairs, but I think that's probably a good tour for now. It gives you a good idea of where we're at in progress.
Well, that's the tour. That's, again, as of February 2013. Still a lot of work to do. You guys are really getting close to caught up to where we're at today. Be patient with us. We appreciate it. Thank you again for everything. Subscribing, sharing. Look for our stuff on Etsy, merchandise, Patreon. Thanks again, everybody, and we will see you soon.